Alright, surprisingly I actually got both seals. So, all I do now is get these out, feed in new ones. And my tools are all gone. There's one laying over here. Appears that they've been borrowed by somebody, probably with a red pan head. So, he's already cleaned that too. Look at the muck coming out of that thing. Look at all that good stuff there. That's some good stuff there. Yeah, you can't get muck like that just anywhere. There you go. Cleaned out. This one, you're cracking. Oh yeah, that's not hard at all. Crystallization going on there. Yep. Those are some vintage seals there. Maybe he wants to keep those for prosperity or something. I'll save them for you in that round receptacle over there. Okay. Bearing's still good. That's all a big plus. Some grease. Packing the bearing a little bit. Don't know how long before it's going to get oil into that damn thing, so might as well make sure it's got something in there. Try to push it down into the roller as much as you can. It's not just packing it in there on the top, you got to get it into the actual rollers. See down inside there? So you can't see it on this side because it didn't get all the way through yet. Pack in some more. You're starting to see it coming through the rollers now. I mean, we're finally getting it in there where it needs to be. Okay, once you see you get it all the way in, you come in this side and put some over here now. Okay. Same on this one here. Just pack it in as much as you can. It's probably the last time it's going to get lubricated, so don't be afraid to put some down in there as far as you can get it. Going with a screwdriver doesn't hurt to wedge it in there. Yep. Looks like I got a little bit in there now. Go ahead and put some more in there. When you stick the armature in there, it'll squirt out whatever it doesn't want. Alright. do it. So just gotta tap these down in there where they belong. Looks relatively flat. That's what you want. Same on this one. Just want to use a steel hammer on this one. Try to get it kind of go evenly a little bit. Not the high spot. Kind of put it in there evenly as you go. No fancy tools around here. Just beat on it, beat it apart, beat it back together. Alright, that looks pretty good. Come back with your grease again. Put some grease on the seal lips there. Don't be afraid to get a little bit in there. Same on this one. So this one will never be lubed again. This one eventually motor oil will work its way into it at some point. Alright. So I get to put this back together again. So this wire here came off of here. Nut and washer here. Okay. There we go. And you look over all this stuff down here. If it all looks good, don't screw with it. If it looks like it's damaged, then do something with it. So one thing I can see right off the bat is we got an issue here. This generator is probably not working. So on these posts here, one side is insulated and one side is not. Now this whole plate is insulated to the body, and these screws are insulated all the way through also. They got sleeve seals on them as well as the upper top. So this one here can short up against that the shoe right there with no problem. It's not going to hurt anything. Now this one over here on the other hand, see how it is tightened up and cut through the insulating material there probably? That means that will never work again. That is bad. That's supposed to be insulated. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up the nut and tighten it down and hold it where it belongs and not have it over torqued. That's why there's two different nuts on here. When you over torque them, things like this happen. This is just a paper type material. It's called fish paper. It is not regular paper. Now this might be split in half and buckled up. That's why you see it raised up. I'm not sure. We got to deal with that. Can't just ignore it. That's all it takes for generator not to work. Right there. Could be nothing else wrong with it. Just that one thing, it won't work. And that damage is easily done externally right here. When these screws start spinning on you, that means you have problems. Paint on there so damn thick. It's making the screw want to turn. Okay. Loosen it up there. I'm trying to see if the paper is damaged. It's obviously crushed, which is not good. Appears to be alright. So I'm going to hold it with a wrench and then try to tighten it up so that it doesn't move. I tighten it pretty tight. That was not enough. Okay. Trying to keep the screw off of that area. So now it's on the bottom instead of the top. Just trying to cut into it a little bit. Try a 3/8 wrench in here. That seems to be a lot closer fitting. Okay, that's pretty tight. Okay, so now if you look in there, it's got a gap on both sides and it's very, very tight. So as long as you don't over torque it on the outside, it won't move on this side. But it might, so you gotta be careful. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten down this other one also, make sure it's good and tight. Now this one doesn't matter if it hits the steel. It's pretty damn tight. Okay. So that should be good. So just use regular torque on these outer nuts. Don't get carried away. You're not trying to hold a damn gas tank on the bike or just a wire. There are no limitations of what your torques are. Okay, so that should be good to go. There, I don't see anything else that looks offendingly bad. So, like I said, that's all in there really nice now, so don't think we have any problems on that. That was definitely probably a problem though. Okay, now these are held in a little, they got little dowel pins here for alignment. They also tend to press in on the body a little bit. So this one's over here. That's all the way down now. Okay. So now you get your armature here. That drops down and it gets pressed on the bearing. Now it wasn't a very tight press, so it should go together relatively easily this way. If it's a tight press, you'd have to actually use a press to put together. This one here, probably just a light tap. There you go. Falls right in. Sticks out the back side, see? No big deal. Okay, you have a dust shield right here. You need to make sure it's not rubbing when it's all the way on. Appears to be okay. It's close, but it's okay, it looks. You have a gear that goes on. Should be a 14 tooth on a Sportster. Relatively hard. You have a breather washer. This is what separates the air and oil in your breather. If you don't have that in there, you're going to dump a lot of oil out of your PIC tube. big twins do not use that. Okay, this is the, usually I have a locking nut on here, not a stupid regular nut like this. So I'll have to go find something else. For now, I'm just going to put it on here right now. Just kind of lightly put it together. I'm going to take this back off again here. Okay, it's on there. Seems to be okay. Alright. So I did that so the armature won't pop out when I'm doing this. Okay, so now you have your armature sticking up pretty high over here. You got the wire has to go through this little cutaway right here, little groove, and then the brushes have to go inside of here. So there's room to do all of this, as long as you don't have a stud sticking through. If this stud is in, you can't do it. The stud back here is in, you can. If you have a fixed stud. Okay, so this here, you just take these, put them in here. You can easily hold these with your fingers. Like that. Now the way these go on, the wire is close to the side where the spring is. Obviously it doesn't fit in the brush hole, you're probably doing something wrong. So just get them over the armature right there like that first. And then, you might be able to see better. Then you gotta make sure your wire is through here. And then you gotta go find your pin. Well, I don't see the pin right now. Take this back up here. Okay, where's all the pins on the other side? Excuse me. This goes through where the pin is. This is for the wire, dumbass. Okay. So you go over here where the pin's at. Go find the pin. Remember, this one's really, really tight, so the pin's way over here. There, pin's in right now. Make sure your wire is clear. Appears to be good. And this goes down. Now this one was really, really tight. Normally they're not this tight. So you have to beat them with a hammer. So a socket right here to bring it down a little bit further. There we go. So that one's all the way in. Now when they're in there all the way, you got to make sure that your brush holder is not rubbing on the armature. The shoulder on the armature right here. If it hits against that, it obviously will not work. Now we already got this together here, so we just rotate to make sure everything's nice and free. Appears to be good. You want to make sure these wires are not touching, so you bend them away a little bit if you have to. Make sure they're good. This one you want to make sure you put a little twist in it here to keep it from rubbing on anything. Now you can't see it right now, but the wire under here, the bolt's going to go on, the wire is going to be on the outside, the bolt will be on the inside when you stick it through. So it holds the wire away from the armature in there. So this just goes through the hole right here in the back. And when you poke it up through here, I don't know if you can see that, find a spot where it's down low, and then when you lift up, it'll be against the wire on the other side. See, I just want to go all the way up right now, the wire is back there. That's how you want it to be. So these bolts are loose, so they just slide in and out. They should be in there held in tight. But like I said, you cannot take this plate off if this one's in. Excuse me, where's the wire at? Yeah, this one where the wire is. This one you gotta knock out. If it won't come out, you gotta separate the housing and move it down, because this plate will not come up around that stud. I think that was the one it doesn't do it. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, one or two. One has to be out for sure. I forget which one. Thinking it's, yeah, it might be this one. Yeah, it's one of the two. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You'll figure it out. Okay, the cover here, same thing. You got a notch here where it has to engage in the dowel. We already got the seal all lubed up in the bearing. So the dowel is right here. So we got to make sure the dowel right here goes right here, and obviously two bolts go through here. So basically only fits one way. We already got grease in the shaft, so it's going to lube itself as it goes in. Once again, if you have to beat it over the armature or something wrong, you can always tap it lightly once to this point. You hear how the second hit, it was already in there all the way. It's now pushed in all the way. Okay, that's how you want that. These are lock nuts, which are fine. Now if you have a cover on the top of this, you'll have a little bracket underneath these two nuts. This one doesn't. At least I don't see one yet. Goes like this. There's supposed to be a strap cover goes around here that hides, keeps the dirt out of the brushes. Okay, so I'm going to tighten these up. We're going to have to use 2 sockets to do this. Refrain from using a zip gun because it will strip the nuts out pretty easy. You can take it apart with a zip gun, but don't assemble it with one. Okay, so the small socket goes into that end. The bigger socket goes over here. Just go down until it touches. There. Do the other one. Tighten this one up. See, we went past the bad parts, that's why it got hard, and it got loose again. So we got some issues. Okay, now you tighten these up. Use a decent amount of torque, but remember it's only a 1/4 inch thread, so that one's stripping. That one didn't pull torque. So either the nuts stripped or the bolt itself did. My guess is the nut. These are like little aircraft nuts. There are not too many threads on them. A regular automotive nut has a couple more threads on it. So, looks like the threads are half there, half gone. The threads on the stud are what the problem is. Okay, so I'm going to go get me a regular nut, and I'll get me a lock washer, which will pull it back a couple threads too. And I get a lock nut for the other side. So, I'll be back.